Witam serdecznie, z tej strony Domamir, a w dzisiejszym odcinku udamy się na dzielnicę handlową, żeby z niej przejść do Aleje Kolosów. Ale pierw jeszcze pójdziemy tutaj do Mulindy Wu, która coś chciała od nas.
The nature of the life arts is the very magic of nature itself. Those who practice life magic are known as theurgists. We call upon fairy creatures to assist in our spells. Our songs promote healing, energy, and vitality. Life magic is a joyous art indeed. Speak with Professor Drake next. He can tell you about the School of Myth. As the professor of life magic, it falls to me to tell you about a wonderful new activity available to students. I speak of gardening. Students at Ravenwood can plant and grow amazing plants in their dormitory rooms or castles. Wizards of all schools can garden, so my hope is that every student will learn the joy of shepherding new life. There is so much to learn about gardening, and I know just the person to teach you. Seek out Farley in Gammą Court. He will explain the basics of gardening to you.
You want to learn about conjuration? Very well, but I'll only say this once, so listen well. We conjurers study the epics of our ancestors and bring these legends to life. Through our will and strict discipline, we develop the power of the mind.
Professor Drake glares at you.
I can see none of this is sinking in. Don't waste my time. Go bother Professor Falmeyer instead.
Jak zawsze niemiły.
Practitioners of the fire arts are pyromancers. Like the dragons before us, we have mastered incantations of fire. The ancient dragons created fire magic to battle their sworn enemies, the giants and the tritons. The potency of fire magic is not for the rash. Now run along to Professor Greyrose. I have work to do.
You wish to learn the nature of ice magic, dear? Ice wizards, known as thaumaturges, use powerful chants to beseech aid from the kingdom of ice. The giants created thaumaturgy as a tool and used it to construct great castles in the sky. Good luck with the rest of your research. You should talk to Professor Baelstrom next.
Hello there. You wish to learn the nature of storm magic, eh? All right. Storm wizards or diviners use verses to charm and shape sentient energy. We harness and control creatures from the chaos of unchecked wind and lightning. Now, I'm sure you have more research to do elsewhere, so hop to it!
Fascinating stuff. I'll send your research notes on magic to the copywriter right away. I'm thinking we need more on history. How about a piece on the magic trees in Ravenwood? They've been here a long time. I think everyone should know their history. It is a big part of Ravenwood.
Oh, heavens. The history of storm magic? But it's such a sad tale. Well, if you insist, Tritons, the lords of the deep, created the storm arts to harness wind and rain, storm and sea. They used their magic to battle their siblings, the devious dragons and the craven giants. But, sadly, it was not enough. They lost the war, and their once noble art was all but forgotten. Until recently.
The history of ice magic, huh? It's simple. When the world was very young, the giants ruled the skies. The grandfather tree created them, as well as the ruthless dragons and the craven tritons. The giants built castles in the clouds above and used ice magic to battle the dragons and the tritons.
Our history is a fiery one, but worth remembering. The dragons, ancient titans of the first world, were the masters of fire. The dragons ruled the land and wanted the sky and sea, but it was not to be. The dragons' siblings, barbaric giants, and the greedy tritons fought against them. To defend themselves, the dragons created the magic of pyromancy. But alas, it was not enough to save them.
When this world, the first world, was still young, the grandfather tree sang a song that created all the creatures. Fantastic creatures, or monsters, become legends. We study these legends so that we can remember them. Then, through the power of myth, we bring them to life. So you see, the study of history can lead to great power.
The history of life magic. Our music is the thread that binds together the universe that is the spiral. Powerful wizards can learn to harness this power and travel to other worlds. Now, go in peace, young wizard, and enjoy life to the fullest.
No to dzisiaj taka uzupełnienie historii. Taka lekcja kolejna.
Gee, great work! I didn't know all that history before. I'm wondering if there's more history we can add to the article. Maybe about the spiral. I'm thinking Gammą the Owl, Headmaster Ambrose, and Bartleby would be good interview subjects. Bartleby's the oldest magic tree, and the Headmaster is not that young either. Plus, Headmaster Ambrose's pet, Gammą the Owl, has studied the spiral intently. Talk to those three, please.
To dzisiaj taki wywiad środowiskowy, że wow.
The model of the spiral is right here. See? Every world is connected along the spiral, even yours. When we learned Wizard City might be in danger, we began looking for a student with great potential. That's how we found you, young wizard.
Ah, yes. The spiral was born out of an ancient conflict. The three elder races could not stop fighting. The giants, rulers of the sky, stole water from the sea to build their great castles of ice. The Tritons, rulers of the sea, battered the dragons' lands with endless storms. The dragons, rulers of the earth, summoned fire to melt the castles of the giants. The war broke the first world into fragments that spun out into the cosmos. Those fragments became the worlds of the spiral.
I am one of the oldest living creatures here. In the first world, there was only my sister, the Great Raven, and me. We were made just after the Creator made the land and the sea and hung the stars in the sky. I sang the dragons, tritons, and giants into existence. But my children began fighting each other, splintering the first world. In desperation, my sister and I began to fashion a spiral. With her magic and my roots, we sent the spiral out into the cosmos to hold the shattering fragments together. For Headmaster Ambrose discovered me here and founded Wizard City to help me guard the spiral. I could tell you more, but right now my mind is getting a bit foggy. I must rest.
Greetings, my little wizard friend. You look like you're in need of some learning, and I'm happy to oblige. And if it's not too much trouble, I'll ask you for a small favor once I've finished yapping. So, where to start? Well, let me tell you about how gardening works. It all begins with the tiniest of things, a seed. That's it, a seed. Do you have a seed with you? Surely you must. What's that? You don't? Oh dear. And we're off to a poor start. Tell you what, will you run over to speak to Blossom, the life tree in the midst of Ravenwood? Ask her for a seed, Any type will do. She should set you up with something to get you started. Be off then, will ya?
Good day to you, young wizard. What can I do for you? A seed? Farley sent you? A most unusual request, but I should be able to help you. A plant's journey of life begins with it as a seed. There are many types of seeds, each with a different destiny. With enough energy, you can prepare soil of your choice in your castle, if you have one, or a planter in your dorm. Then, you can place the seed into the readied soil. After a time, it will begin to grow. You can shepherd its growth through spells and other means of caring for it, creating an environment for it to thrive. I will give you a seed. Take it back to Farley. He will tell you more.
Mleczyk pewnie ostatni w tym sezonie.
Oh, you've got that seed? Fantastic. I recommend you roll up your sleeves and learn something about gardening. Let's see what kind of seed Blossom saw fit to give you. Oh, what's this? A dandelion? That'll do nicely. After you've planted your dandelion seed, it starts to grow. From seed to seedling, young plant, mature plant, to elder. You can use a number of helpful spells to usher it along as it grows, keeping it healthy and happy. Take a look at the row of 4 dandelions to the side of me. When you're done, come back and I'll bend your ear some more, if you've got the patience for it.
This is a seedling, the youngest phase of life for a plant. You will need energy to plant a seed in a planter or the ground. After a seed is planted, you can use plant growth spells on it to help it flourish. Plants require some things to thrive and survive: water, sunshine, pollination, magic, and even music. Plants that are cared for with spells to satisfy their needs will advance through the stages of life. Next, you should examine the young plant. This is a young plant in its next stage of life after seedling. You can observe your plant's growth visually and by using some simple spells. The plow spell allows you to remove a plant or dirt pile if you wish to do so. The revive spell allows you to transform a wilting plant into a young plant, ready to grow once more. Now you should examine the mature plant. This is a mature plant in the fullness of its growth. When a plant becomes mature, it can be harvested. You can harvest a plant by interacting with it. Each type of plant yields a different harvest: reagents, pet snacks, gold, treasure cards, or more seeds. You can harvest from a plant as long as it's in its mature stage of life. It's now time to take a look at the elder plant. This is an elder plant, the final stage of a plant's life cycle. Many plants won't reach this stage. An elder plant can be harvested one final time with much greater possible rewards. Once an elder plant is harvested, it disappears and cannot be revived. You should return to speak to Farley.
So, there you have it. Think you know it all now? Don't get carried away. I've still much to teach. I'm sad to say that gardening isn't all nurturing and happiness. Plants can be endangered by some very real threats. Take a look at the 2 unhealthy-looking specimens to the other side of me. Come back when you've seen for yourself what can happen.
This plant is wilting. It will die before too long if it's not taken care of. Plants can die if their needs are not met, or if they are killed by pests. Plants have likes and dislikes, things that encourage or discourage their growth. A plant's likes are things it enjoys being near. These can include other types of plants or gardening items. A plant will flourish if it is near things that it likes, while things it dislikes will cause it to become unhealthy. An important part of gardening is learning how to arrange your plants and create a healthy garden for them. You should examine the dead plant now. This plant is dead. Now all that can be done is to plow it over or revive it as a seedling. The greatest threat to plants are pests. Pests can infest a plant and hinder its growth. If pests are not eliminated, eventually the plant will begin to wilt and die. When a plant is infested by pests, it cannot be harvested, and growth spells will have no effect. To eliminate pests, you must use pest-fighting spells. To eliminate a pest, the spell must be of high enough rank. You can purchase pest-fighting spells from vendors throughout the spiral, or even win them as treasures. Farley can tell you more about how to get started gardening.
It's a sorry state to see plants doing so poorly, but it's important to know what risks there are when gardening. I think by now you've learned the basics of planting and gardening. If you've been paying attention, the seed Blossom gave you should be enough to get you started. I encourage you to try it out. You've already got the basic spells to care for your plant, and I can sell you additional spells and items for your garden. As you continue to garden, you'll reap the rewards in the form of harvests, badges, and even experience. I look forward to seeing you again with your newfound green thumb displayed oh so proudly. Best of luck to you.
That's amazing! I didn't know Headmaster Ambrose founded Ravenwood. There's so much to learn. Thanks, Wizard. Wow, Wizard. This history article is really shaping up, but I think we could use some citations. There's a set of books from the library called A Complete History. Ask the librarian for them.
What was it you wanted? The Complete History series? Just a minute, I'll take a look. I'm sorry. Those books you want were checked out by a professor who no longer works for Ravenwood. He's gone now, good riddance, but the books are still missing. If they're still around, they'd be easy to spot since they're so large they require a pedestal for reading. Would you mind searching for them? Be sure to look all over Wizard City. I'm sure they'll help your article plenty.
No okej, to teraz gdzie się możemy udać w sumie? Chyba wiem gdzie. Dobrze, to udamy się szybko na odpowiednią aleję. Tylko oczywiście widzicie tutaj status połączenia sieciowego, coś nam szwankuje.
You collect the foamy water created by the waterfall.
Thank goodness the headmaster sent a wizard to aid us. We could really use your help. Strange creatures have taken over Colossus Boulevard. We don't know where they came from, but they eat everything in sight. We call them gobblers. I admire you wizards. My niece studies ice magic at Ravenwood, but I'm worried about her. She said she was doing some school project on Colossus Boulevard, but I don't know why she has to do it now. Would you go speak to her and see if she needs any help? Her name is Mindy Pixie Crown.
Beware, young wizard. The street you now have access to, Colossus Boulevard, contains battles which are handled a little differently. There can be more opponents at one time compared to the amount of players participating in the battle. Be very careful.
No to ciekawie się zapowiada. Pokonamy sobie jednego łykacza, a raczej dwóch w sumie. Bo tutaj akurat ta walka wygląda nieco inaczej.
Hello? Hello? Do you hear me? Oh, good! The badge is working. Orange reading. Pectron concentrations there are average. Good! Come back to Ravenwood.
Okej, udamy się jeszcze tylko do Mirandy i zakończymy tutaj. Dobrze. To tak. Wystarczy powiedzieć, ciąg dalszy nastąpi.